past our normal start time, but we've had this morning. He was actually walking out. I thought he was trying to escape. And I said, whoa, stop. And so he's trying to figure out, he's got to be on an airplane here in just a little bit. So he's flying out. Yeah. So he was trying to juggle how to figure all this out. And I said, we'll just start early. We'll give Wes some extra time then by the time and we know Wes can handle the extra time.
He's much more interesting.
Okay. How do you feel that? So with that, we're going to get started. We're excited to have Dr. Miller. He's presented once before when he was first kicking this business off during COVID time period. Yep. So we're excited to hear where it's at now and where he's going with it. So,
all right. Thank you all. I apologize for the chaos of the day. I actually had to change a flight. Supposed to fly into LA. You know how crazy that is. Got to go to a conference, which is really our conference season is our business. So I have to do the O.J. Simpson run to the airport here pretty quick. So just the only likeness with OJ. But the really cool thing about this is Annette asked me to come back. I remember when we kicked this off during COVID and we were all spread out. What was the name of the theater? Restoration? Yeah. So we were all spread out and it was weird. And at that time, we had just literally pulled the trigger to officially turn the product on, which is really scary. If you've ever launched any type of product, your first one is, and I still remember the first case that came through the phone. Just for a little context, during that time, I was the only medical provider on our team. And the first year we did about 300 cases for the year. Now we're doing about 3,000 a month, and we have managed over 100,000 cases. And for those of you who don't know what we do, essentially, I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and if everyone in this room had my cell phone number, you could call or text me anytime, and I'm going to give you advice to keep you out of the emergency room. We've kept 98% of the people who come through our platform out of the emergency room. And just so you know, the statistics is that about 96% of people who go to the ER don't belong there. It's not really where you should consume your health care. The cost of that to both you and your employer or the government, if you're on a government plan, is upwards for what I do of $60 billion. So we are conservatively have saved about $50 or $60 million just in our 6-year history. So this was supposed to, I'm going to stand on this side here. This was supposed to be a talk, not just to promote our product, but to also help other entrepreneurs to kind of see what it takes to dip your toe in and then take the leap. So we were founded here in St. Joseph, Missouri. My co-founder is Jem Ostaz, who's actually already out in California getting ready, and he's the CTO. This was before everybody had Claude and Vibe coded, as we were speaking earlier. So we did the old-fashioned code on the computer stuff and couldn't just plug it into Claude to see how we do this. But what really makes us different is that we're human-led, technology-enabled. So when you reach out to us, you talk to a human, and we use technology on the back end to help us scale and be faster and more efficient. So what do we really do? We call our core business the 24/7, 365 orthopedic triage. The other piece of this is we now have over 30 medical providers across the country. We have 10% of the entire orthopedic workforce on our platform. And we did have 2 competitors that we outlasted and outperformed. So we're the last company standing in this space. It's really complicated. You can imagine I think we cover 47 states. How do you cover 47 states with 47 licenses 24/7? That's 4.3 FTEs all the time, always on. That's the hard part. So we are human-led, technology-enabled, and we started with the simple Friday night lights. And I'm a sports medicine doc, so Friday night football, Saturday morning, people, what do? My kid's hurt. So I built a website, or had someone build a website. And I always tell the story that after about 2 weeks, I had to shut that down because it was completely illegal, HIPAA, not compliant, hot mess. So we unwind and we reset, and then we build from the ground up. So now what we've done is we've taken that initial triage and we've created the first true end-to-end. MSK is a term you're going to hear today. MSK stands for musculoskeletal, basically bone and joint. So now you can enter our platform 24/7. We can tell you about your injury. We can then offer you, if we don't have a provider locally, we can get on a telemedicine appointment. Say it looks like you have a sprained ankle. We can then refer you to physical therapy, or our most recent project, which we just launched in April, I'm going to show you a quick little clip of. We can get you into digital rehab. What's unique about our digital rehab, it has motion capture technology that also gives corrective feedback. So I've got a lot of aches and pains, and I'm now consuming healthcare and I'm consuming physical therapy. I go to great physical therapists, but we're all busy in here. I can't go twice a week or 3 times a week, but I need to do my home exercises. Has anyone been to therapy, right? Okay, who gets the printout? Okay, who actually does it? Nobody, including me. So we take that printout and you're going to see what we've created. Now we've got something that's engaging, something that's trackable. Only about 20% of people complete their physical therapy course. So we're changing that. The other part of this is we're in rural Missouri. People don't have resources in Albany, Trenton, Bethany, all these places where they don't have this sort of world-class care. We can extend that to everyone, anywhere, anytime. We are still self-funded, debt-free. Hope that's about to change in a month. Not the debt part, but the self-funded part. We'll still be surgeon-led until they fire me. But what has happened is, we had a little talk about this in the book club, we have built a marketplace, which is unique, that we have started with this core product of triage, and our customers across the country, the biggest names in orthopedics, the Rothman Institute, Ortho Carolina, Ortho Illinois, Crystal Clinic, literally the biggest names in orthopedics now trust us. So when we launched our digital rehab product, our sales cycle went from months, sometimes years, to weeks. So everyone trusts us, and they sign an addendum and we're off and running. So good stuff happening. I've had a little bit of talk about this as we kicked off. Again, most of the people don't need ER visits. This $2,000 bill is actually more like $3,000 or more. And then everyone in here has tried to get into our office probably, or has had someone. We are passionate about this walk-in clinic that we have. But if you have to go somewhere else that doesn't have that, sometimes you could take 2-3 weeks to get in to see an orthopedic surgeon. Nobody wants to wait when they're in pain. So we launched mid-COVID. It was actually a blessing. If COVID wouldn't have happened, this product wouldn't exist, because I was at home smoking meat every day, having a pool party, drinking beer. And I said, wait, we can't just keep doing this. We have to. It was a great time, really. Family was there, kids were there, we were closed off. I learned to smoke every kind of meat in the book. So I called my co-founder and said, let's regroup. So we started from scratch, and we launched October of COVID. We've expanded into workers' comp and sports medicine. Tyson Foods International is about to be our client. If you can imagine an injured worker, think about a UPS or a FedEx driver. These guys are always around. We're actually talking to all the major oil companies in the nation. These folks are deployed all over, and when they get hurt, either away from a medical care facility or after hours on third shift, we can take action and prevent that deployment to the emergency room. Anyone who owns a business in here and has a workers' comp claim understands what that truly costs if it's inappropriately managed. So we can be that first touch to make sure the case starts in the right direction. The hardest thing that I do is unwind inappropriate or wrong care. So getting that first touch, giving an immediate work status, and helping that patient or injured worker get down the right path is critical, which is why it's an easy sell for us. I'm 53 years old. At some point when I was 50, I decided I need to get my heart score, you know, the calcium artery thing that you pay $50 for. That tells you afterwards, when you get your heart score, whether or not you can keep smoking or drinking, because you're good, Or if you need to take some action and do some physical therapy or fitness, or go see a doctor and get on a statin, or get your heart cath. Anyway, so there was nothing like that for your joint. So we have people come to our clinic all the time with this ache or pain, and they end up in the wrong specialist clinic. So during a manic moment, I created this thing called Joint Score. And before machine learning and AI and all this stuff, we actually created a system where someone can take this joint score, and right now it's with an 85% predictability that if I tell you, the joint score tells you need a knee replacement, you need a knee replacement. That's very powerful information when you go to the doctor. You have an expectation. I can't tell you how many times people come to see me and they think they need a knee replacement and their joint's beautiful. I tell them, you got the joint of a 16-year-old. Really? Yeah, you have a torn meniscus. It's no big deal. So that was then just recently created, finished a research project with Ortho Carolina Research Institute. That's going to be published here this summer or fall now. And one of the largest implant manufacturers in the country, actually the world, is trying to partner with us. SuperDash is a term that we use for our dashboard. We have become a huge data and analytics company. So everybody in here who owns a business has to constantly prove their value and their worth. That's hard for us. If I'm sending patients to a practice, I have to show them that there is downstream revenue. So through that, SuperDash was born, and now we have not only analytics, but we have predictive analytics. If someone's in here playing pickleball on a Sunday and they pop their Achilles, I'm going to be able to tell that practice that I'm going to send them an MRI, a surgery, a facility fee, physical therapy, and a DME. So I'm going to say, here's your predictive analytics for that case. Compare that with your actual. So we all have to do budgets here. It's a very powerful tool. We just launched the Total MSK solution, and we were in charge of the entire MSK tract at Rosetta Fest, which is a self-funded, growing organization for self-funded employers getting away from the BUCA health plans. If you don't know what BUCA means, that's Blue Cross United, Cigna Health, Humana, and Aetna. So everyone is trying, we had to talk about this, we're trying to build local community health plans that self-funded employers actually have some control over. And we're trying to not only just control costs, but improve access. So we partner with 2 other companies to create the Total MSK solution. It's already going like gangbusters because the top 3 spends on your health plan are cancer, cardiology, and MSK. Well, we can't have outpatient heart attacks, so that doesn't work. We don't do much outpatient cancer. Those people are sick. It's very stressful. But the easy button here is MSK. Lots of injuries. And then digital recovery. Very passionate about that because I think it is the future. So who we serve? We serve injured people where they don't know to go. We self-guide them. They're not billed. So our service is free to patients. Why? Because if you're hurt or your kid's hurt and screaming, you're not pulling out your credit card. You're not pulling out your insurance card. You're headed to the ER. So our clients are the people who benefit from having these great patients, practices, health systems, and also employers benefit from not getting the wrong care. And then again, everyone wants to recover at home. Who gets online groceries? I cannot stand to go to a grocery store. I have everything delivered. I'm a DoorDash junkie. So why the heck do I want to get in my car and go to PT if it's appropriate that I can do it at home? So our customers, again, orthopedic practices. We have 70 practices across 45 states. We capture patients who shouldn't be in the ER, and then we're constantly building new service lines. Triage, digital rehab, and now prehab. One of the problems with physical therapy is that you probably get 18 visits, maybe 24. Very few health plans have unlimited physical therapy. As a shoulder surgeon, I want my patients, before I can do their operation, to do some work. They can't afford it. They don't have time. So now we can give that to them digitally. So we just talked about employers. That's an extremely long sales cycle. I was talking to Wes earlier. If I would have started in the employer space, which has always been the goal, I would have been broke because we would have never got it done. It takes a really long time to move the needle there, and we're just starting to make some traction. So we have to constantly prove what we're worth. Most of our customers, which are orthopedic practices, are seeing new patients. Our best performing customers, 65% of the patients that come through our platform are new to the practice. 80% of the cases we manage are after 5 p.m. and on weekends. So that's when people go to the ER because they're terrified. 92% of our patients follow up with what we say. Also pretty rare in healthcare for you to actually follow your doctor's advice. So it works. We have a huge patient satisfaction because, as I tell our team, our job is to talk you off the ledge. In the weekends, evenings, holidays, you're scared. You don't know what this ache or pain is. I'm currently running around on a torn meniscus. I fortunately know what it is, but if I didn't, I would be losing my mind. So we talk people off the ledge so they can take a breath. And when they actually go to see their doctor, it's a much more pleasant and comfortable experience. In this case study with this one practice, we kept 100% of their patients out of the emergency room. Any questions so far?
Not yet. Keep going.
Okay.
No.
You go ahead.
Joint score, is that a full body scan, or is that just
Joint score is a questionnaire at this point. So have you had PT? Have you had an injection? Do you have pain at night? Can you put on your shoes without pain? That kind of thing. And what's happening really exciting now is that with AI and machine learning, that thing is getting really accurate. Digital recovery. Has anyone heard of Hinge or Sword? A lot of employers use Hinge and Sword. They're both $2+ billion valuations right now. The Hinge and Sword model is to extract patients from physical therapy clinics. That has not gone well for their reputation. Employers put them in as part of their health plan. Your clinician orders physical therapy. They have your data and they find out that you're going to therapy, so they call you and aggressively solicit you to get out of therapy and get onto the digital platform. That doesn't go well. Therapists don't like that. So what we did is, because I've done this for 22 years, I get asked all the time, Doc, can you just give me some exercises? And I'm like, no, I'm not a therapist. Go to therapy. They'll do it. I don't want to go to therapy. I don't have time. And now co-pays for physical therapy are $40 to $60. So it kind of all used to be part of your plan. Now it's real money. So tell someone they have to go twice a week for 6 weeks. That's $600 out of pocket, right? Plus, if you have a high deductible health plan, it's a lot more than that. It's probably $1,200 to $1,500. I can rehab anyone for $300, start to finish. But I want to do that in partnership with the physical therapist and the doctor. I want to make sure the protocols are followed to the exercise. And you're going to see, I'm going to show you a little screen recording of an actual session. You're going to see that it gives corrective feedback. So just like anyone who's ever hired someone to watch their kids swing a bat, which we probably all have if you've got a kid. Well, take that now. Instead of having that skilled coach trying to watch your kid, you have computer technology actually watching every mechanical piece of their movement. So patients love to recover at home. And we can track outcomes. There's a thing called PROMs, patient-recorded outcome measures. Fortunately or unfortunately, we're all going to get paid now in medicine on our quality. So you have to collect data, then you have to have outcome measures. So we can actually collect that PROM data to report back to the employers, the insurance companies, and all those people who are sending us money. So over the next year, we're scaling rapidly. We have about 400 physical therapists on our platform now. I would say we'll have well over 1,000 by the end of this year. It's really going like gangbusters. We want to make prehab the standard, and we want to make that something that is offered to every patient. We're growing our employer base rapidly, and then we want to deepen our research and continue to prove what we're doing. I think our 5-year picture changes more like every 5 months. But so this was all things Annette made me do, right? 5-year picture. So I had to come up with a 5-year plan. I don't have it really, quite honestly. As fast as technology is moving, I don't know what next year looks like. But I will want to say that one of the things that my title is CEO, but really is the Chief Hype Officer. I love to be in conferences in front of people. I like to innovate and see what patients actually need and want. So there's going to continue to be opportunities there. What has this taught us? Habits are our competitor, and it's still hard to change habits. It's still hard to change people's mindsets to not just default to the ER. We have an entire marketing division now. I don't like marketing, nothing against marketers, but in medicine, I think that marketing has become yucky. When I came to town in 2004, we spent $25,000 to have the front page of the Yellow Pages. So that's how much I despise marketing. But anyway, so we now have a full-scale marketing team, but our marketing is more of a playbook team. We don't do high solicitation. What we're doing is we're teaching people how to engage patients and understanding where do they consume care. If someone comes to my website today, OSMC Online or OSMC Ortho, you're going to see a pop-up. That pop-up creates an actionable item. Yes, you may have a bone or joint pain, but you probably don't care what my reputation is right now. You'll look later, but you want an action. What can I do to take action about my pain? And that's one of the simple things that we've learned. Scaling is a two-sided network. Patients need practices, practices need patients. The other thing I'll say over and over again, healthcare is local, which is why the big boys haven't really had success. I think Hinge and Sword have a 1% to 2% member engagement. So employers are paying a ton of money for it and they're not getting utilization. So now those things are coming due. So we're taking a completely different approach. We're putting the engagement pieces in the clinics. We're going to have on-site contractors that help be our internal champions and educate patients. Healthcare moves slowly. And I think the way that our company is positioned, we are still really quick to pivot and respond. And that's been the beauty of being a small, fully self-funded company. But right now, quite honestly, we're deep in the middle of a raise, but we're not losing control. Part of our mission is to stay in control of this because our practices trust us. And we're putting fuel on the fire with the funds. We're not just buying a new boat, which I do like boats. But so we're putting fuel on the fire to reinvest. We've reinvested every dollar back into the company. And it's as much about hiring more people as it is building new technology. What can you do for me? Well, if you know small business owners in this community, we want to help them. Our company, Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, has just under 100 employees. We just recently won a Rosie Award. I didn't know a thing about self-funded employers 3 years ago, and now I'm speaking on panels. I'm, quote, an expert on that in the community side. So everyone who owns a small business can benefit from taking a deep look into their plan. We also have to work with broker advisors and TPAs. And then again, all the fun stuff is to follow this story locally. And this will always be kind of my memory of where we launched. I think that might be the last slide. Yeah. So I'll show you real quick here what the digital recovery looks like. And I think I'm going to make my flight and it's going to work out great. All right. So on any device, your cell phone, your iPad, or anything with a camera, what'll happen is you'll see your physical therapist and they'll say Dr. Miller's rotator cuff protocol. They'll click a button, it'll activate, and then the patient will get that on their screen. And this is me. So this is just an example of me messing up on purpose.
Try Try to straighten your right arm more.
So not only am I getting corrective feedback,
You're almost finished.
the
Keep it up.
accuracy of this motion capture technology is more accurate than a human with the goniometer. So you see it gives me a score. So that was me
Side
messing
bend
up on
stretch.
purpose. This is actually me with a really crummy back, not messing up on purpose. You're going to see how it takes me from a low quality
Bend
rep
more to the left.
and it forces me into a quality rep. Imagine that if you're in a therapy clinic and someone's not watching you, this thing never takes its eyes off. We get a pain score. This helps with that patient recorded outcome measure. Then we allow the patient to give us feedback. It's too easy. It's too hard. I need more time. I don't like that exercise. One step further, every session is recorded, so it can always be referenced. You can see it's recorded without the patient's face, or, people do weird things online. So it's just stick figures. But physical therapists have this data and they can always go back and review it. And then when you see your therapist back in person, they can take a quick peek at this and say, Brett, looks like you need to straighten your right arm. Let's work on that today. Your sessions become more high quality that way. So that's it. Questions?
How do you know it's not weak muscles around the joints versus the joints themselves?
Well, that's why we want the assessment by someone who knows what they're doing and make it appropriate to be in this product, versus we don't allow consumers to directly enter into this program, because then we can't have any control. Post-operative protocols are very specific to biological healing. And so we don't want someone who thinks they know what they're doing, or Google search or ChatGPT, to get into this program without supervision. That's what's unique. Other questions?
I gotcha. Yeah. So 2 months out from rotator cuff.
Okay.
And cut a clavicle this much on the AC joint. It was a mess. But it's funny. It's just the physical therapy. I did the prehab. I'm ahead of schedule, I think, on that. But it's interesting is I told my physical therapist on Monday that I admit I'm not doing the work at home. I'm like the parent during the COVID years where
Right.
the teachers realized, yes,
We're not studying.
Not learning anything at home. Everything
You're smoking meat and drinking beer. There you go.
It was a good year. That was a good year. But no, I think this is absolutely incredible, because things we could do at home. This gives us accountability as patients. Yeah, fantastic.
If you see the physical therapy dashboard, number one, I can track compliance. I can track how many times you've been on. I can see if you've done the session. People tap out. A shoulder surgery, again, 6 months. That's the true rehab. You tap out at 3 months, but you're not done. The ACL kid who has their ACL and they live in rural Missouri, and I have no idea if they're getting quality rehab, this allows it to be a supplemental tool.
I almost hate to ask this question because I think it's poking something here, but all of us, most of us as small business owners, sometimes doing the right thing is not profitable, and I think that kind of gets messy in medicine. How have you had some pushback, like from hospitals say, "My gosh, you're going to take all of our patients," or?
The answer is no, because there's such a shortage of physical therapists. They can't graduate enough. The average physical therapist only works about 7 years. I've heard that. It might be 10, because they choose to do other things. So now we have a huge shortage of access for patients. And then, like I said, people will drive 100 miles to see a great surgeon, but only 10 miles to go see a therapist. That's the data. So you can't have a brick and mortar on every single corner. Thank you all. Oh, yes, sir, doctor.
Where do the uninsured patients and Medicare, those kind of people fall in this?
So that they can definitely do the triage. That's no charge. The digital rehab is a cash pay option, so they can still pay that. Now, federally funded programs as of today can't do the cash pay, but I think that law is going to change, maybe even this year.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.